All right. Good morning, guys. Happy Wednesday. Good morning. Already got spanked once today. Just took an L here. It was super light risk. It was a 5-handle stop with only one contract. So it was only one contract because it was everything confirmed on the 1 minute time frame. So just to go over the trade setup, you guys saw in the Discord. I don't know if you guys took it. It was obviously really quick. But here's what I saw. So basically we've got a run into this weekly liquidity void. That's what this gray zone is. And then basically we've got price had broken down, market structure shifted. This would be the breaker because this is the last run up. They put in a new high. And then we market structure shifted below this low. And we had a fair value gap right here. So fair value gap lining up with the breaker, targeting relative equal lows for the short term, and then targeting this low would have been like the actual low-hanging fruit TP in my opinion. But so that was the setup. Didn't work out. It just went right on through without stopping or hesitating whatsoever. So yeah, I minus 5 points on one contract so far this morning. And for those of you guys that took the trade yesterday, it sounds like it was kind of a mixed bag. Some people took it for PM session, some people missed it. This was the trade yesterday during PM session. Looks small from the zoomed out perspective, but yeah, this was the trade, guys. Basically we took out the lunchtime lows. We had SMT between Dow and ES, and then we displaced up. There was not really much for like a solid market structure shift. However, the reason I liked it without the market structure shift was because we had SMT. So this fair value gap was the entry, stop below the low, and then we ran and took out the lunchtime highs, which is where I got out. So I put 3 contracts on this trade yesterday. Oh my goodness. I tried letting people in from the waiting room and I accidentally stopped screen sharing. Please hold. All right. Can you guys see my screen? You guys are good? I think I got it back. But anyway, yeah, so this was the trade yesterday. I did 3 contracts on it. I did 1 contract off here, 1 contract off here, and then the final one off here. I actually made back all the losses from Monday. And then I was a 0.25% or so in profits going into today, but then obviously just took this small little loss. So right now, this account, I'm 50 bucks, not even 43 bucks down from just break even, but all good, all good. So we'll wait. We'll wait for a little bit better confirmation here. We are into the macro. This macro is an expansion macro. So I was okay getting in because we had the confirmations. If you guys remember, again, previous CPI days, there's a lot of times where the setup actually happens right before, silver bullet hour during opening range. And then the silver bullet hour is kind of like, again, that expansion that brings it to final target. So I thought it'd be worthwhile taking a stab since we had a decent setup here that met all of our rules. And just looking at everything else, I guess we'll have to be patient and give this some time. But so we're in the macro right now. We did just work above these highs again. I'm not really interested in getting long today. Not without any sort of correction, at least. I would like to see at least a correction back down below this low at least. I would at least like to see this low be redelivered through. And then, if market decides to start shifting higher, then a long would make sense. But until that happens, a long, in my opinion, doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, especially now that we're tapping into this weekly liquidity void. And we've been working up ever since late Monday. Well, early Monday. But good morning. If you guys didn't see, I did make a new little channel for the trade alerts. I don't know if you guys missed the trade alert yesterday on SPX because of, I'm assuming some of you guys have this channel muted the SPX chat because, you know, it can get bombarded with messages sometimes. So, should have probably had that channel in place already, but I also try keeping the server as like clean as possible. There's a lot of, like, you know what I mean? I don't want to have just like a bunch of random channels that never get used. So I've tried to steer more towards just like keeping it super simple. The entire weekly liquidity void is in play at some point. I mean, yeah, I would say. I mean, everything's in play, technically. Forever till the end of time. You know what I mean? All this sell side's in play. All this imbalance, like everything's in play. We'll have to see. This is that weekly liquidity void, by the way, guys, if you hadn't seen it. Right into here. So we'll see how far we want to dig into this today. Obviously, we still got PPI tomorrow as well. But everything's going according to plan on these higher time frame perspectives. We'll see. Maybe we'll start to displace lower. We'll use this as an inverted gap on the 5 minute. And I guess one thing I will say is if we do end up in a position today that's, you know, there's a possibility that we might end up in trades that are more than our 5 handle stop normally. So just be prepared to maybe use lighter risk. In such a scenario, like what I'll plan on doing even with this top step account, let's say I end up only doing 1 contract, you know, I'll just hold it. I'll hold it for like at least a solid full target for like a 1 to 3 or something like that. But on a day like today, you know, we like volatility and it doesn't take much to get 10, 20 handles on a day like today. You know, this is already 20 handles from this low to this high. And I guess what we can do, I'm going to get this out of the way. Oh. Is we'll wait and see if we start getting any divergences to form between all these indices. We'll toggle back and forth between NQ and Dow. The SMT yesterday that we used was off of Dow. And, you know, if I had to offer an opinion, you guys could agree or disagree, it doesn't really matter. I've always felt this way, that there was a tighter correlation between Dow and ES than ES and NQ. I don't really have an explanation as to why. But I remember seeing tighter correlations before I even traded smart money concepts. You would see these move together, and if there was anything moving opposite, it was like always NAS. So we got Dow selling off. We got NQ starting to finally turn here. ES, oops, looks pretty similar as well. I'm curious. Hopefully this doesn't look all distorted. Kind of does. We do have some SMT here with these highs on Dow. Real quick, let's see if NQ. Oh, NQ is starting to eat that up. Yeah, we do have SMT here on the daily for now between Dow and ES. Interesting. See it on the 4 hour a little bit cleaner. So we'll wait. We'll wait. Just a forewarning. I'm hoping we'll be good to go before then. CPI is usually a day where we can get away early. You know, get in a trade and either let it sit and go, or usually we're not waiting, you know, like we have been needing to lately. But just a forewarning, if for whatever reason we are still waiting, or you know what I mean, I probably will have to hop off at like 10. But like I said, I don't think that'll be the case. I think we'll get something before then. $10 Central, by the way, 11 Eastern. Giuliano is walking around with his shirt off. Well, I can't lie to you guys. I don't ever have these cameras open. Oh, he just turned his camera. I don't ever see you guys. Does anybody ever even actually have their camera on Zoom? What's up, Brandon? Oh, not anymore. Hey, don't get shy now. I literally never. I always have everything minimized on the Zoom screen. So I don't even know if you guys have your cameras on. That's funny. But yeah, the news did come out bullish, which this is all pretty standard. Usually you get the news release and it just pumps. And then every month but last month so far this year, we have seen on CPI and PPI. So if this is our move from CPI, right? What we've seen every single month except last month was it spends the rest of the morning at least, sometimes the rest of the whole day, correcting all the way to and through the entire news release. Only last month did it do something like this. We hit like only 2 take profits and then it continued higher. So only last month that happened. So we'll see, right? We'll see how much this continues to play out this way. But even regardless of taking that bias out of it, like any sort of recency bias, we've swept hella buy side, and we're just waiting for the move. We'd be doing the same thing even if it wasn't a PPI day, right? If we had a huge run like this, we'd wait for a move and then we'd take it. Especially after a big weekly objective gets hit. It is kind of a big range, unfortunately. You know, at the most, before we get any sort of bounce, you could maybe anticipate, you know, consequent encroachment. So in that case, we'd be waiting a little bit. See how much farther that is. Another 20 points. Well, I hope not. I live in Wisconsin, Chad. Go Pack, go. No market structure shift yet here on Dow either. See if NQ looks any different. No, don't. Oh, I remember Corey. Yep. I still feel like if Giannis wasn't hurt, we would have not been upset by the Heat this year. But I don't know. Basketball is not really like my. I only watch basketball when it gets down to like the NBA playoffs and the finals. To be honest. But every Sunday during football season, you can catch your boy watching the old green and gold. Typically in a volume imbalance, the magnet draws price all the way through, right? I mean, it's just like anything else, right? So you have an order block, you don't expect it to deliver all the way through. Sometimes it fills 50%. Sometimes it fills it just hits the open. Same with fair value gaps. Sometimes you just get one little tick into the gap. Sometimes you get consequent encroachment. Sometimes you get that entire gap to get filled and then it bounces. And I'm not saying like eventually, I mean, it's the stock market. What has the S&P 500 done over decades? It just goes up. Like it is in a perma uptrend on like the actual scope of things. If you just bought the S&P 500 and just held it for your entire lifespan, like it's bullish. You know what I mean? So yeah, eventually the entire thing will get traded through for sure. But do I think before that happens, it's possible that we see a correction? I think so. And if we get a setup that confirms that, we'll take it. Interesting, we have SMT, some pretty obvious and pretty apparent SMP here, or SMT, between the S&P and Dow Jones. And NQ just flying, yeah. So that's interesting. We'll see if this SMT holds. Kind of would expect this to hold on Dow, even though there wasn't like a true market structure shift, because you would really wanted to see here. However, this would make some sense as well to run out this. So you wouldn't really need a market structure shift if you were just going off of like how we traded yesterday. We didn't have a market structure shift. Instead, we had relative equal highs, but we had SMT. So we didn't really need the market structure shift. But I don't trade Dow, so I ain't gonna start today. maybe down the road. We'll tape read this one, see how it plays out. But yeah, this is the SMT I'm talking about for now. Yeah, 1 minute gap, 2 minute gap there. Core CPI. I think we have unemployment tomorrow as well. Yes. I guess we go take a peek at the DXY as well while we're waiting. Holy. Oh, there we go. So finally we had all of this. You guys remember this was a point of interest on the DXY that was talked about as well. I don't know if that was... I feel like ICT talked about something on the weekly. No, maybe it was that one. It must have been that one. Anyway, so yeah, you can see that it tapped into this. For whatever reason, oh, I remember now. I think he said he wanted consequent encroachment on this. And like it hit it on his chart, but for whatever reason on my chart it didn't. So I don't know if we had different DXYs that we're looking at. But anyway, yeah, bounced off that daily order block. And now we've taken out these lows. So this would correlate, right? Like if we're expecting any sort of a reversal on ES to come back down, we'd kind of expect similar on DXY, right? We'd expect to poke through, run liquidity, grab sell stops, grab stop losses for people that are long, and then, you know, begin to turn back around. That would make sense. Let's get back over to Dow. That is holding for right now. Starting to kind of disrespect that gap. So in that case, this would be inducement, which technically I was a victim of inducement on this first trade that I took before the session. But the setup did make a lot of sense. And I actually do want to, I'll annotate this because I'm going to go screenshot this later. But basically, for those of you guys that hopped on maybe a little bit late, this was the trade that I sent in the Discord before the session. Run this liquidity out. We're in the weekly liquidity void. There we go. So we ran this liquidity out. We're in the weekly liquidity void, so already expecting a correction down. And so we see price break down, displace through this low, market structure shifting. Gap right here lines up with this breaker. It's extended across. This was the entry. Right there. And then the rest is history. My stop was right above this high. And then, you know, this was going to be where I was going to go risk-free once we turned. And then my TP was going to be here. I just have one contract for this trade. Partially due to where we were at with time and price. It was right before, well, the macro was actually after my stop loss was hit. So, but knowing that we had that coming, I was willing to put at least one contract on the table to hopefully get the expansion macro down through this low. But wasn't in the cards. But yeah, so aside from all things considered, obviously got spanked on Monday, 3 losses. I mean, talk about a beatdown. And then yesterday made all that back with the trade. And then I only took this trade on the Top Step account this morning, which then brought me back to essentially break even. I'm 43 bucks down overall. So yeah, it's kind of been a break even week thus far, personally. Yeah, Chad, this will actually be my first. This will be my first. Yeah, I've talked about this before about just like prop firms versus funded accounts. Yeah, I felt like when I first do, like the first time I took a prop firm challenge with FTMO, this is, I don't even know what year it was in, I don't know, late 2020 maybe. But I would say that's when like I got some good risk management out in. It did help me in that regard. But what I kept running into was once I got risk management out in, it was like the deadline was really like that was my Achilles heel, was the deadline for the most part. So kind of after failing a couple challenges, I got to a point where I'm like, bro, like I actually don't think prop firms are the way to go for, because keep in mind at that time I'm also getting new people started that have never traded before, so I kind of had like a different perspective as well. Like I was trying to figure out, I'm like, well, I'm like, if I'm trying to give these people good advice on like where I think they should start. And for a while I'm like, oh, the prop firm route makes sense because it'll allow them to acquire capital, and most people don't have they're undercapitalized. So I thought that made a lot of sense, but then what I was seeing over and over again was that people were just getting absolutely, like, they would have been better off putting $500, $1,000, $1,500 into a live account and then just trading that account, even if they just hover around break even for 90 days, 6 months. Like, that's better than being break even on your FTMO challenge or something, and then you pay for a new challenge after 30 days because your deadline's met. So it's like you blew your account without blowing your account. Like you're being disciplined for like not doing anything wrong. You know. So then I shifted and I was like, you know what? I think it's better for everyone, and including myself, to just say F prop firms, and like everybody would be better off just compounding their little accounts. Like who gives a shit if you have $1,000 account and you make $30? That's 3%. The $30. Like, so okay, so you make $30 5 times a week, let's just say, hypothetically. Well, now you've got, what is that, $150 extra? That's not bad. Right? And then like you just compound that little bit. So I went away from prop firms for a long time, or at least it felt like a really long time. And then basically came back to do the futures one, initially because I wanted to trade on TradingView, and I wanted to trade futures, give it a stab, and I gotta be honest with you, I really like it. Really like it. But no, I mean I still trade. You know, I'm trading both at the same time, so. But I also would think that, you know, I just think there's a lot of misconception that goes on with like prop firms and stuff. I feel like a lot of people, you know, they'll pass a challenge in a couple days or a couple trades. You know, they get their certificate, but like that's kind of the end of it for them. For most people, at like 99% most likely. Because I don't think that that's building good habits. So I guess the only prop firm that I would endorse at this point is Top Step. I'm biased, obviously. I'm also affiliated with them, so I'm ultra biased. But like, it's not for no reason. Yes, it's a monthly fee, but at least you can still maintain good habits. Because I mean that's what trading is, right? Just building good habits with your discipline. It's funny how you can have good habits for a little bit, right? A little length of time you can have good habits. But then like one day that goes out the window and you lose everything. And to me that's, I don't know, a lot more likely when you have the deadline or quota mindset going into trading. But that's just my opinion. Doesn't have to be yours or anyone else's. No, Alex, I can't say that I do. I used to. Well, the first guy that I learned from that turned out was just a complete phony and a liar. His big thing, it was a marketing stunt. He would say that he made he'd shoot for 8% a day, by he'd risk like 2% a trade or something, and then he would, and keep in mind, I guess that wasn't even with like normal forex trading. That was with binary options. So he would take like 3 trades a session or whatever a day, and said he was going to make 8%. So initially, I had that mindset for a little bit when I first started. Very incorrect, very wrong. I don't think you should tie a goal like that to it necessarily. I think you could have rules that you make for yourself. I think you should trade the chart and focus on the setup more than the percent gain per se. And then you get the setup, you play the setup, you execute, and you have a plan for your exits, and you execute accordingly. And I think everything else kind of just takes care of themselves at that point, right? And your results are going to be unstable. They're not going to be the same every week or every month. Some weeks will be break even, some months will be break even, or you'll go on a nice little win streak and you'll just have like this crazy month that just is far beyond all your previous months. But no, I wouldn't have a goal. I guess if anything, I have like a mental stop profit, in the sense of like, if I get a good trade out of the market, you guys know what I'm talking about, like a nice trade for us that hits like take profit 2 or take profit 3 or just all targets hit or whatever. Like usually I'm just done for the day. I'm not trying to get another trade on, even if there's a good setup. Because I really don't like the philosophy of playing with profits either. I feel like that's how you lose profits. But yeah, once you start attaching like goals, or I need to make X amount this day, or X amount this week, or X amount this month, I just feel like that's kind of the beginning of the end. Because you'll end up forcing, like, what happens if you have a goal of making X amount per week and you're not there by the end of the week? You're like, well, it's Friday. I gotta try to get my goal, or your month. The same thing with the monthly goal. So I guess the only question would be, do you like question yourself, not based on how much you made or anything like that, but more so like, did I execute my plan properly with like trade setups? And there's still times where I take trades that I'm like, I look back and I'm like, I could have maybe taken a deeper look and not taken it, but that's also not realistic either. You're not going to be perfect. MSS 1350. Yeah, for right now. This could be our new market structure shift as well. Just kind of depending, but this SMT is holding on Dow, which is interesting. Kind of starting to chop around here, getting closer to 930. Yeah, NQ and ES both are still holding similar structure, just Dow with this SMT. So, Salas, this is potentially looking good for you, bro. I know you like trading US 30 overall things. Agree. I'm trying to convince my head to stop calculating what I should reach, etc. Because, yeah. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense. I didn't always feel that way. But I feel like, you know, once you trade long enough, I feel like everybody kind of starts to, like, I don't know. I don't know who would listen to that and say I disagree. You should shoot for 5% a day or 2% a day or something. Like, I think that will get you in trouble. It got me in trouble anyway. Not good, not good. Well, I guess we are waiting a little bit today. You know, just when you think you and the market are on the same page. My MetaTrader is frozen. Oh, there we go. Goal is 100K plus funding with 1% gain a day. Great profits. What's your rule, Celis? I'm assuming you have the rule is once you make 1%, you're done. What's your rule for like loss for the day? Or even like being in the middle. Such as, like, let's say you take a trade, you lose. Maybe you lose 0.5%. You take another trade, you make 1% on that trade. Now you're up 0.5%. Do you ever shut it down right there and just say, I don't need the 1% today? I don't see a good setup. I'm not going to force it. That's where people run into trouble, in my opinion, with like having percent gain goals for the day. Is like they're close, or maybe they're right there, and they're like, well, I got 0.5% I can, you know, risk, and I'd be at break even, so I'll just maybe risk this little bit of profit that I do have because I want that 1%. And then they end up giving that 0.5% back. And then you guys know where this story goes. Like, then it turns into like, now they're down 1% on the day. Well, then now they're pissed because they're down 1%. They're like, well, I need to at least get back to break even. And then they keep going. Like, that's the slippery slope that it turns into. But like, there's no right or wrong, right? That's the cool part about trading, is it's such an individual thing that, I mean, only you can answer what works for you and what hasn't worked for you. And yeah, you might have to play around with it a little bit, but based on, like, just from my experience, that's kind of where I'm at. What a snooze fest. I'm just waiting. Usually I go for 2% a day, risk 1%, but once I get over 1% on a trade, I put my stop loss at 1% profit. Oh, I got you. I'm assuming you didn't always do that, though. I know you've been trading for obviously a long time too, so. Was it like that at first, or that was something that you shifted to later on? Yeah. So here's what I'll say. If we get a market structure shift here, I'll treat this as our market structure shift point. One cool thing about this as well is we've got, hang on, let me extend this across. I'm getting click happy. Is we've got this gap we would look to see become an inversion gap as well. If we can displace through, fair value gap here lines up with the inversion gap, lines up with the market structure shift, knowing we got SMT here. Yeah, it'd be nice if they're taken. If not, I'm okay with it because we got SMT. But again, we have to see more, you know, conviction down first. Otherwise, yeah, I'm with you. iPhone. Yeah, see what I mean, guys? So if our displacement happens and we get our entry like right here, you know, stop loss would be, you know, full 5 handles at least. Yeah. Yep. Obviously we have another macro coming in 15. We've slowly just kind of expanded slightly higher. So far this session. I don't know if you would like truly call this SMT. Okay. I personally probably wouldn't necessarily. But starting to take form as such. But yeah, I won't be mad if it comes up here one more time. DXY turning yet? Nope, not yet. The United States annual inflation cooled to 3% in June, lowest level in more than 2 years. Sweet. Does top tier have free resets if you are in profit after the first phase ends? Top tier or top step? I think so. I don't know if it's multiple. It might just be one. I don't know. I think I need to adjust my camera somehow. I'm right in front of the window, but like I don't know why I look like Casper the Ghost. I gotta like turn the brightness down somehow, or like the exposure. No, I don't think any futures prop firms do. No, you just pay the monthly. Yeah, I mean, if you were going to go with a 4x prop firm, see, nice, we got that run on liquidity. iPhone, let's go. That's what we wanted to see. Come on. See some excitement. That's what I'm talking about. Oh. Still holding SMT. Close back in the range. Oh, we might be onto some here, folks. Keyword might. Obama has entered the waiting room. All right, well, let's let Obama in. Obama, good to see you again. All right, so we can shift this to here. So I'll say this. Like I said, I have to hop off around like 10. But if worst case scenario, I'll wait through the end of that macro and see. I can push it a little bit. But after that, might have to be more of like looking at charts and updating you guys in the Discord. I'll be on the road. I don't know. Part of me kind of wants to take my laptop with me and get my hotspot going, maybe. Be able to trade PM session later as well. Just depending on how this morning goes. I'll let the groom drive, if that's the case. Wait, what? Oh yeah, by the way, today's trade better go well because your Mr. President is visiting our country. I don't want to do anything stupid. You can go do something stupid. I don't care. I'm not a big fan of him. Also, don't drink and trade. I don't know. Sometimes at night when you're getting a little pre next day analysis going, sometimes it's good to get a little wine in the system. There's got to be someone somewhere sitting with a glass of scotch. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Okay, we're still waiting for the market structure shifts. Yeah, one. Well, I guess, fuck it, I'll ask. So, Basil, I'm not here to throw you under the bus. I actually respect that you had respect for me and reached out personally. But if you don't mind, I will read the message, or at least part of it. But Basil just reached out and he said, I didn't want to ask this in public because it might have a negative impact on your channel, but out of respect for your personal hard work, I decided to ask you this in private. I have an important question. Would you mind asking your subscribers to vote whether $150 monthly fee on your channel is really high or not, based on overall results? Personally, I joined about a month ago and I've been on break even, thinking whether or not to continue. So I guess you guys can let me know in the chat if you guys feel like, or just your personal thoughts on that. Y'all let me know. Open to any and all criticism. Unless it's my haircut. I just got a haircut. So I better not get any shit for this. Mm-mm. Here's what I'll say about I guess just about that. But I mean, I paid $299. You just call it $300. It's like $295 a month for 3 years. And I can tell you, I learned a lot, right? Like I'm not gonna discredit any of the education. However, it's just not, I paid $300 a month for 3 years. What's the? I'm less than half that. And I would argue that trading with one person, one strategy, one ideology is a lot better than trading with multiple people that might have different perspectives. I've talked about this as well. This is why I would never I don't see myself ever bringing someone else on to like call out trades or do sessions, because I don't think that's in anyone's best interest. To have more trades, or even if somebody trades similarly, it's like, I mean, you're still, it's two different people. You might not see the same thing. So you have one person saying this, another person might disagree. I don't think that's of service to you guys. I mean, it's up to each and every individual. Like if you don't feel the, like it's worth it, then by all means. I don't take offense to that. It is what it is. If I was paying for something and I felt like I wasn't getting value from it anymore, I wouldn't do it either. Hopefully, and this isn't like an end all be all thing. You guys are all here to learn how to trade, and it would make full sense to learn how to trade. And maybe I've helped you like tweak a couple things, and then you just go off on your own. That'd be amazing. I'm not here to like retain you guys necessarily. Like, if you guys stay around and love these sessions and want to keep trading together and want to stay in the community, all that stuff, by all means, I would love it. But that would be bad on my end to like try to do things and manipulate things in a way to like keep you guys here paying. That's not really my goal. You know, hopefully I can add enough value to where it speaks for itself. But that's really all I can say. But I'm not, you know, it's your choice at the end of the day. All right, I'm gonna read some of these comments. We're still waiting. Oh my God, you guys wrote a lot of shit. As long as I don't yeah. And here's the thing too, like I'm never gonna make any sort of like income claims or anything like that. I think it's tacky. And I just think it's not good. It's unnecessary enticement, even if it's the truth and nothing but the truth under oath, God is our witness, like it's just not good. There's so many bad things that can come from that down the road. So, you know, I try to let the trading do the talking. And if that ain't enough, then, you know, take a hike. Person thing is fine. Consistently showing up every single day. Teach during live Zooms, not a trade, and we'll host PM sessions. Yeah. I mean, what is 300 a month for, what is that, 36 months? $11,000 almost. Plus it's all a tax write-off, guys. This is continued education. I wrote all that off. Or at least as much as I could. I don't know. I'm sure it's not all of it. It's probably just a portion, but some people want a $2,500 to do less. Yeah. Well, a lot of those will be like one-time things as well, because they just need to get the money from you once. They just need to prove their value to you one time. They're not going to give you your money back, you know? And I'm not here to like swindle people either. Like I've had people that, you know, told me they were going to cancel and they just, you know, they gave me a heads up, and then like they didn't cancel in time and their renewal still hit. I could have been a dick and said, no, I'm keeping the money. But no, I mean, I'm giving, like, shit happens. And I've heard of other people doing that as well. Like, they just withhold money just because. It's like, okay, clearly your intentions are pretty obvious. And I guess just to add to everything, I'm still scrolling through these Zoom chats, guys. I haven't got to the bottom yet. All I'll say is, I mean, I don't ever plan on like raising the price from where it is. And to be honest, I would look to only find ways to add more value for the same cost. You know, that might look like maybe a few times a week adding in like a nighttime session where we go over like the trade from the day that we took, what we were looking at, and then maybe what we could have done better, what we could have done different, what we did right. You know, I could add stuff like that in, but you know, I do think there's a lot of healthy, I guess, mindset or perspective that you gain from like not needing to feel like you just need to be on charts all the time. But I do see that, I know that there would be value in that, like just doing like a little quick call at night and maybe like open Q&A as well. No disrespect, profitable since joining the channel. And the only reason I haven't been profitable since joining is because of over trading and going against what Tyler says. But that's good. I'm like, at the same time, Corey, like I'm happy that you're still trading on your own and not only just waiting for me. Because that tells me that like you're the one, you understand you're in control and you're trying to be the one that's like making sense of all the decisions you're making. And you're not only waiting and like mad. Like let's say I don't take a trade one day, you're not mad because dude, I wanted to trade today. Tyler didn't take a trade. Look at the setup we missed. You know what I mean? That would be not really super helpful. Don't think it's worth doing Zoom calls if I charge less. Paying mostly for the company. Trading is only without this group. Prof is a bonus. Oh, that was nice. Oh, you guys shifted to the Hong Kong gap. Trading for years. Trading myself can be a mental struggle. You're trading the same setup in the market. I feel the loss more when I'm by myself. Hey, there's actually a true component to that. Like if you're gonna take a trade, it's like when you win with a lot of people, it's really fun and exhilarating. And then when you lose, it still sucks, but it's still a little bit easier when you're with other people, if that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, way more confident taking your own, for sure. For sure. And that's the goal for all of you, I would assume. You know? So we've got this SM. Wow. Okay. Look alive. We got this SMT holding. We are in this macro. Oh, I kind of don't like that. We just did that. All right. We've got a lot of low resistance liquidity here. Let's see what we got. If we were to do one tick into the gap. Oh, that's nice. 3.5 handles. So it's pretty light risk. I'm going to do 2 contracts on this, guys. I will put risk on for this trade because of the SMT. We do have a market structure shift. It just didn't close below. So the reaction kind of like freaked me out a little bit, to be honest. But it's still a lighter risk trade. This is 14 ticks. So I will put risk on. Once we enter into here, we're good to go. SMT with Dow and ES. Why did it do that? Whoa, what are we doing? And then, yeah, we'll look to target. Let's see here. So we got 10 handles down to this order block. But in all reality, I would like to see us run all the way down to this low. At least 22.25 handles. But no, I appreciate you guys sharing your feedback. You know, it is what it is. But yeah, Basil, I appreciate you sending that to me privately first. But hopefully that was helpful for me to ask. But you can sound off if you have anything to add. But yeah, I didn't want you to feel like I was throwing you under the bus because that's not what I was trying to do. So 520.25, that's going to be actually I'm just going to set a limit. 520.25, 14 ticks, yep. Sell limit 2 contracts, boom. All right, sweet. So I'm risking 350 on this. I'll market execute on MetaTrader. So this will be less than 0.5%. With the 0.25% that I lost already, that would put me at, slightly over 0.5%. Like if this, worst case scenario were to take a loss. And then in reality, I would like to get this. I'd potentially consider taking one partial. Like I would sell one contract off here. 2 minute, no gap there. I was waiting to see if there's going to be, there's obviously a 1 minute gap right here. However, knowing our rule, high, low, we want the one in premium, right? But I feel a lot better after this now. That's nice. But yeah, this initial reaction kind of freaked me out. But we also want to see prior fair value gap turn inversion. I'm not sure what which fair value gap? Look left. This one? I mean, we still have to bounce to return to our entry. But yeah, we would want to see the breakthrough and then this one become an inversion gap. The only way we're going to miss this trade, in my opinion, if it does sell off, would be obviously if this gap holds and we just sell off. But yeah, I'd like to see us get a nice little wick right into here. Boom, rebalance, and then go. No, yeah, bounce doesn't worry. But that doesn't mean that, like, you know, I'm not claiming that this is going to be correct. But this is a good trade to put risk on for. In my humble opinion, we've got a run on liquidity. Boom. Market structure shift. Very, very nice. Now, here's our gap. One of the two gaps, the one in premium. With SMT divergence with Dow Jones. I don't know if we have that on NQ. Holy. We've got something. Wow. I didn't even realize that NQ was in a world all by itself today. Nice gap there. Didn't really fully close this gap, but this is the same gap that we're looking at on ES. Yeah, let's see. So yeah, once we tap up into here, I'll market execute. I'm at a trader, but yeah, I got a limit set for this bad boy. And this is going to be SMT divergence. I mean, all the way up until this high gets taken. And in which case, we'd probably be incorrect. We'd probably see higher prices. And I guess in reality, if we didn't get a reaction immediately right after, given the macro that we're in, I would prefer to wait till PM. But this is now considered like an accumulation macro. Versus the one before is an expansion macro. And then you have, in the PM session, you have an accumulation macro, which is the first one from 110 to 140 Eastern. And then you have another expansion macro at the end of the day, which is the second one. 215 to 245 Central, 315 to 345 Eastern. Yeah. And there is another macro. There is another macro right before lunch. Bro, come on. Get up here. One little wick. I'm not really sure what that one's classified as, though, as the lunch macro. I would assume more of an accumulation, because that's what we generally expect lunch to do, is accumulate. But I kind of look at just that lunchtime as a whole, like that entire window, as like I look at it as like an Asian range. And an accumulation macro is kind of what we traded off of yesterday for PM session, which is where we took out the low, which also happened to line up with the lunchtime lows, and then we went for the lunchtime highs. So, you know, in that event, you know, expecting a run of the macro low. Like, for example, here's where I would probably start to feel less confident in the trade. So let's say from 9:50 to 10:10 Central, so 10:50 to 11:10 for New York time. This macro is going to obviously put in a high and a low, and you could anticipate that being ran, and then perhaps then see the other side be taken out. You know what I mean? So right now the high of this macro is right here. However, this is the high that ran out this liquidity, and then we got the market structure shift to follow. So that's why our stop would go here. But would it be possible for market to, you know, for us to take on heat, maybe sweep out this high, leave our stop alone, and go? That would definitely be possible. And then we've got a macro low, which is still yet to be formed. Hopefully it forms this double bottom. That'd be nice. But, you know, you'd kind of expect then to run through that, or like vice versa. So that's what we had yesterday for PM. And this is the macro low from previous. So not just like, you know, obviously it sticks out. This would be pretty easy. So like, it's not really like important or anything that like I'm pointing this out, because this is a pretty obvious low anyway, but this is significant. This is the low that was put in during that macro. And then this was the high right here. The high was taken out. What do we got here? Then we basically just got the opening range low here. And what's this bad boy right here? I guess just AM session low. You know, this would be a little disappointing if we don't get a return back to here. How far is that? Well, we came 2 ticks from this entry. But let me know if all that makes sense. But I guess, yeah, that'd be beneficial to look at lows that way and tie meaning to them. This will be a bummer. We are still in this macro for 30 seconds, so our macro low is being put in as we speak. And yeah, I mean, I guess putting in the low without running this low would be really nice, because then we'll have a nice low resistance liquidity run framed up by macro low 1, macro low 2, opening range low. So I guess to me this will invalidate if and only if we run out this low here. But, you know, if we bounce, maybe even double bottom here, that'd be great. Otherwise, not looking great. Looking like we might have missed it unless we can get a pullback back to this gap. As long as it reaches a premium level. Not sure if we will. Yeah, we would have to take out the low in order to do so. So that's now bueno for me. Little 5-minute gap here as well. So yeah, I'm just gonna rock with this entry, guys. I like it. Might even do one tick above the high. 3 3/4 stop. So yeah, it's still slightly lighter risk, and I'll say this: if this trade fails, I can point out to you exactly why it would fail before it happens. So just so you have this in mind. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I almost jumped the gun. I thought we ran the macro low. We did not. All right, we're good then. If this, like, let's say, like, one candle or two candles later, like, this is the macro low, boom, we punch through and then displace up, that would be the reasoning. That's what I'd blame the loss on. Because then that was the algorithm doing its thing. But this is the low. That's beautiful, to be honest. Macro low 1, macro low 2. Opening range low. AM session low. And then, I mean, if you really wanted to get rambunctious, you could maybe anticipate all this being corrected. Didn't happen last month. I'd be more than happy with this, personally. See if NQ maybe wants to return here as well. Yeah, we're getting... I am going to start having to pack up here soon. He's already texted me. Yeah, give me a little bit. All right, I told him I'll be heading his way in like 10 minutes. So let's see what we get. I'll at least like us to be maybe in the trade, but I'm gonna set the limit, guys. Worst case scenario, this is gonna be the trade until these lows get taken. Once these lows start getting taken, that's where I'm personally like, you know, fuck, I missed it. Yes, there is an ICT Concepts Lux Algo indicator. It's all right. It's actually what I had to pull it up real quick. I was like, I wonder if it registers this as a market structure shift, and that's the screenshot that I sent in the Discord for the first trade. It was. So thanks, Lux Algo. Just kidding. I agreed with it. Hey Tyler, how do you get your stop and profit targets to show a value? Mine just say sell and buy. How did I do that? That's a good question. Trading settings. I think I did it like this. Brackets, profit and loss, money, positions, profit and loss. I have it. So these are toggled on, and they both have money for me. So that's what I have right here. The buy sell buttons would be like these things. I have those off. Play sounds for executions. Oh, that'd be cool. It's kind of... No. Oh my god, no. Please, no. No. Wow. Okay, never mind. No thanks. Did that help, Jay? I see you guys talking about it. Yeah, the order filled. Yeah, that's a lot better than these trading view sounds. I also think I have PTSD because I used all those sounds for like my alerts when like my stop losses would get hit. Oh, I just like nails on a chalkboard. That's weird. Are you on Top Step, Jay? I'm not sure why. Not sure why that's the case. So yeah, guys, this will be the trade setup of the morning. If we run this bad boy down and we get what we want out of it, I'll probably be done for the day. If we miss this somehow or if it loses, I will look to find a setup for PM session only if one makes sense. But yeah, worst case scenario, I'll take 2 losses on the day, slightly over 0.5%. Best case scenario is, well, you guys know. So this is going to be the beginning of the 5-minute gap. My entry is 1 tick into the 1-minute gap. I'm not gonna move it. I like where it is. I like that we're about to tap into this one on NASDAQ as well. But yeah, once we're in, so this will be TP1. These 2 lows down here, they're pretty close. So I would say this whole range is a good TP1. If you guys would like, and then yeah, TP2 this low, TP3 down here. I would like to think that we would be okay to remove risk once we get below these lows and start working into this gap, because we'd want to see this flip to an inversion gap. So tentatively, I'm gonna say that for right now. That's my plan. I would like, if we're not on here, to remove risk there and then ride it out. Did not tap into this gap yet. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. Don't do me dirty. Please. You might have pulled the trigger there. It would have made sense if you did. J Mark's in. But yeah, I didn't do anything. Same goes here. The only way I would invalidate the trade is if these lows, TP1 areas, this area, these lows get taken out. That's where I've missed the trade officially. Huh. Didn't leave yet. J-Mark, bro, how many accounts you got? I feel like you pass one a day. Jeez. Are you able to scale all those together? Or is that not your goal? Oops. Oh, that's smart. All right, well, I'm waiting if we get one more pullback into there. I'm executing. If we turn here at this volume imbalance and head below this, odds are I missed it. Keep in mind the macro high is right here. Not sure if we draw to that or not. But in case we do. But yeah, guys, I'm going to have to bounce off of here. This is the trade for me. If it hits, I'm in. And if it doesn't hit, then at this point, delete it if you're not in. If you are in and you got in here, TP1, TP2, TP3. Okay, so I'll keep you guys updated in the Discord with anything else, if anything changes, or if this gets triggered in. I'm sorry that I got to bounce off here like this, but this is going to be the trade. Yeah, we'll wait. I'm going to wait for like one more minute. Yeah, I'm definitely getting kicked out of the wedding, let's be honest. No, I'm kidding. I'm going to watch this candle. Once this candle closes, we're going to end the call. And if I do miss the trade, I'm not chasing anything. I'm not like, shit happens. So I'm not going to chase anything. I will screenshot this and I'll make a TikTok and I'll say like, oh my God, look how close I was. To just, you know, to let everyone else feel my pain, but otherwise not much else to say. All right, yeah. We'll see if this gap returns us to the entry. But yeah, again, guys, once these lows are taken, this is going to be removed for me. All right, so I'll keep you guys updated in the Discord. Have an amazing Wednesday. If you guys need anything, reach out. And I will talk to you guys very soon. Peace out, y'all.